not for nothing, and I mean this. I really mean this from the bottom of my heart, and it kind of hurts me. It pains me a little bit to say this, but not for nothing. But I like the idea of rebuilding the Jays Stadium. A couple weeks ago, it became public. It's very likely that the Sky Dome is going to be demolished, and we're going to get a new stadium for the Blue Jays. From what I'm understanding, there's two main options. They take down the Sky Dome. They build on the same plot of land, which would have a bunch of condo buildings on the north end, and they would build a smaller and more baseball-specific stadium on the southern part, bars, that kind of thing, create like a little bit of hotspot. Should that not work, they have another plot of land that Rogers owns near Lakeshore that apparently would make for a good spot. Now, like I said, it kind of pains me to say it because I love the Sky Dome. I personally, from the outside, I think the Sky Dome, and I'm going to keep saying the Sky Dome, the Rogers Center can suck it. I'm going to keep saying the Sky Dome. I think that the dome itself is just as important to the Toronto skyline as the CN Tower is. I mean, when you think of Toronto and you look at Toronto, you think of the CN Tower, you see the Sky Dome. So from that perspective, it kind of pains me, and I'm not a big proponent of change sometimes, if I'm being honest. But if you've ever watched a Blue Jays baseball game, there are some terrible spots to watch that game. I remember I bought tickets. I wanted to sit low. Clayton Kershaw, a few years back when the Jays were at the pinnacle, I wanted to watch Clayton Kershaw pitch, so I paid for lower level bowls. I think I was just above the first base, like right above the first base, like just into the outfield. The seats are positioned so that you are stuck facing forward and you're facing the right fielder. So you're not seeing the game. You have to turn and be on an angle, which the seats are so tight that that's not an option. If you don't know the person next to you, you're not going to exactly throw your legs over theirs, right, and start cuddling during this fucking game. So I felt like the whole time I'm sitting there with my buddies, and I swear we left, and Kershaw had like 15 strikeouts. I swear I saw nothing because I was staring at the right fielder the whole time. And it's a travesty. And I mean, I love how big it is. I love when it's full, just the energy. But you're too far. The seats aren't angled properly. They're not even stacked properly. If you're in the wrong section of the lower bowl, you're looking at the back of the guy's head in front of you in some cases. It needs an upgrade. And I think if you see what they've done in Dunedin with like their new facility, it is gorgeous. And not only is it made for the fans, it's made better for the players. These little things matter. When you are bringing free agents in and they come to your facility, they want the best. They really do. And we've been talking about it forever. Half of our players die on our AstroTurf. I know they've been growing it in some secret lab somewhere for the past few years, but this is actually a chance to get real grass in. Let's avoid some injuries. Let's build it so it's an actual baseball stadium made for viewing baseball. How do you feel about it?
Usually I like to kind of, be a devil's advocate for these so that we have kind of more discussion generated, but I have to agree. And the reason I have to agree is because I was early in the offseason, I was kind of more in favor of acquiring Francisco Lindor over George Springer or any outfielders, just because he would get to play on the dirt cutout rather than the grass.
Right.
Sure. And the fact that popped into my mind, it's like, that shouldn't pop into someone's mind, right? It should just be the player, their stats, and their fit, right? But right away, like one of the first things that came to my mind was now George Springer, and after they did sign George Springer, I thought now George Springer has to, run around on the AstroTurf. So the AstroTurf has seen upgrades every couple of years, right? You may have seen, if you're watching on the broadcast, you can see the little black rubber pellets flying out, so it creates some sort of shock absorption. But again, it's just not, especially for a player that's going to start off at 31 years old and going forward, right? He's not particularly like injury plagued or anything like that, but it's just one more thing to worry about, right? He has to come to Canada, right? Thank God we secured him for that. And on that topic, I have a strong suspicion that the 6-year deal is like a 5-year deal with like that buffer year for where they might play like this COVID year. You know what I mean? Like they might play this COVID year in Dunedin or where the hell then we're gonna play, and then the 5-year deal is like the body of it. But again, I worry about it, and the fan experience is another issue. Again, going to Rogers Center, Sky Dome, it's all I need is the smell of hot dogs and a ball game, and I'm not extremely like picky, but the seats are not comfortable for sure, and they're not facing in the right way. Your neck is kinked by the end of it. I'm a smaller guy standing at a staunch 5'7", 5'8", with my hair kind of spiked up, but I even still have to kind of, by the end of the game, I'm like kind of tight, right? Not that I'm
Yeah.
asking for lazy boys out there or anything. Like Rogers can't afford it for fuck's sake, so they could. But
What is it? What do they have? The TD comfort zone? I want that everywhere. I
yeah,
mean, I get it. I know the costs, the costs outweigh what they're kind of willing to do. And at the end of the day, it's about how do you make the most amount of money with a space? Like you see it with the airline industry. It's like if they could have you sitting on each other's laps, they probably would.
oh yeah.
So I mean, it's just I think it's time for a change. I really think that it'll bring a lot of value to the organization, and besides the fact that I worry it's going to take 250 years to do it and my great 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 grandchildren will finally see that stadium, I think that it is a good thing for the organization.
Yeah, detractors have said there's going to be a lot of dust if they demolish Rogers Centre in downtown Toronto. I don't live there. We have masks now that we're all wearing anyway. Fucking forget it. All right, set it and forget it. Let's get a new stadium. I'd love it.